What would a spiritual revolution look like that liberates spirit itself from religion? At least some kinds. This is the 12th in a series on making a mythology for our time. A lot of us really like the idea of the Force from Star Wars, and it's not an idea that George Lucas just dreamed up, although he gave it that name. But through Joseph Campbell, he was aware that it's an archetypal idea that comes up all over the place. So this form of spiritual power sometimes takes the name Mana, sometimes Mongulu, sometimes Great Mystery, sometimes Holy Ghost. And in fact, in the Gospel of John, Jesus tells the disciples, in effect, I'm moving on, but I will leave you with the Comforter. You can have access to the Spirit itself, which of course is what happens in Acts at Pentecost. So the idea of some kind of spiritual force or power that holds everything together goes all the way back through human history and culture, and it also shows up in fiction, as I mentioned. In my Lamplighter trilogy, in the second novel, the character Simeon Mackenzie has had kind of a blessed life up until a certain point. And, the gods talk to him in his dreams. He's got archetypes popping all over the place. And then at one point, things get quiet. And when he asks why, the gods say, you don't need us like that anymore. You've grown up. If you need support, if you need knowledge, if you need ideas, that's what you have each other for. And this is a loss for him in some ways, psychologically. He goes through some grieving about this. His spirituality has to transform. It has to mature. So there's a term also that comes up in my fiction, male fist capitalism, and it refers to the malignant kind. And so one of the ways male fist capitalism works is it buys everything up that people need to live and sells it back to them at exorbitant prices. And this is what certain forms of religion have done. So the spiritual revolution I have in mind, that's been called for pretty much throughout history, is for an abundance model of spirituality rather than a scarcity model. Spirit not locked up in churches or temples or mosques. Spirit not held down into doctrines and dogmas, but freely available to everybody who just takes a moment to listen to the sound of the world.